Oh, finally. Here we go. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And right now, that means we have signed a player. Oh, it's been going on for what feels like for ages, isn't it? Since all of our last signings. But no, Jorrel Hato has been announced. I say been announced. Fabrizio Romano has given us the here we go. Oh, what an absolute relief. I was starting to think this one was never going to happen, man. Every single day, all I kept seeing was Jorrel Hato's getting closer. Jorrel Hato's getting closer. It's getting closer, inching ever so slightly, moment by moment, but we're finally here. He has signed a long-term deal, although I didn't see it on the Romano post. I have seen somewhere that it is up to 2032, and the price will be in excess of 40 million euros. So that is basically the 35 to 37-ish mil price. It might be the 39 long-term with add-ons and stuff, but it's a bargain, right? It's a bargain, and it's something we desperately needed. And not just we, Marc Cucurella. That boy needs a break, so this is wicked for him in particular. So guys, if you're enjoying the content and would like to see more, please do me the distinct honor of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Right, so I've been talking about him a lot. Everybody's been talking about him a lot, but what I in particular haven't done is talked about him as a player. So let's get into why Jorrel Hato might be a wicked player for Chelsea. And you know me, I love a heat map, so we will start with his heat map from the Eredivisie last season. And it's no particular surprise that he very dominates the left side, but what is interesting is you can see how much he's getting inside that midfield as well. So it looks like he might be the perfect alternative to Marc Cucurella to be able to play that inverted fullback midfield role as and when called upon. But also what's promising is there's quite a lot of red in the, in the box, in the final defensive third in his own half. So he's absolutely up for getting stuck in with the defending as well, and we haven't got another Ben Chilwell on our hands. That's no disrespect to Ben Chilwell at all. He was wicked. It's just not what we need right now. And you can even see there's a pretty deep red spot in the box. So I assume that means when corners are coming in, he's trying to make himself available to make attacks. And the little dot in the corner shows you that he occasionally takes corners too. So a mix, right? He's got a bit of everything, a little bit like Marc Cucurella. He can play in midfield, he can be a bit of a byline guy, he can get stuck in with defence, and he doesn't mind trying to score a goal either. So positionally, it makes sense. It totally makes sense, and it's absolutely what we needed to give Marc Cucurella some support going into a Champions League season. So next, let's just do something else I like to do, which is take a look at how many times he played in different positions over that last season too. So I've made a little table, and here it is. As you can see, predominantly of his last 50 games that he played, 45 of them were spent at left back. So that's kind of what he's used to doing. As you can see, he can also depth in midfield and centre back as well, but ultimately we're bringing him in to be a left back. So that's good. He's shown flashes of versatility, but is really solid left back player. And one of the things I mentioned in my video I released earlier today is how that might actually be interesting for a couple of reasons, because what it might do is maybe Enzo Maresca starts thinking about testing Marc Cucurella as a midfielder as well. We all groaned a bit with the Reece James experiment, but he looked pretty good in that PSG game, didn't he? So maybe this is an opportunity to not just give Marc Cucurella a bit of a break, but also experiment with him in different positions, because he seems to be able to do everything. So that's the heat maps and his positional stuff out of the way. Let's take a look at some of his most important stats that he got in the Eredivisie last season. So he played 31 games, which is really good. That means he's ready for a full busy season, and he might not make quite that many appearances this season, but it's going to be somewhere in the 20s, isn't it? We're in 4 competitions, so there's going to be game time going around for the 2 left backs that we have in the squad. Minutes played, 2,593. Again, it's a lot. He's got a lot of stamina. He's got a lot of game time. He's ready to come into the team. Wicked. Goals and assists. Now, this is an interesting one. I should have split it really, but what that is 2 goals and 6 assists. So what we've got a little bit counter to Marc Cucurella, who is quite happy to get on the end of a goal. Jorrel Hato is a really creative player, and will be looking to get creative balls in to our attacking players, of which we have many. So that's great. Yes, it's the Eredivisie. As ever, we have to juxtapose all of these stats with the fact that it's coming from a slightly less competitive league. But just to know that that's the kind of thing he's capable of at 19 years old. Let's not forget that he's only 19. It's great to see that we also may well have a good attacking force on our hands as well. Pass accuracy of 90%. That is wicked. Very few players in our team managed to pass accuracy that good last season. And it makes sense, right? Total football, Eredivisie, Ajax, obviously passing's a really big part of what they do. But a high passing accuracy is important for all of the players in our team right now, because Yes, sometimes we play fast, aggressive transitional football, but the base of Maresca's style is control and possession based. Duels won per 90, 6.28, another wicked stat. He's winning 6 duels a game. That's awesome. So he's just showing he's got everything. He's creative and he can get goals and assists. He's an excellent passer and he's winning 6 duels per game and 2 successful tackles, which could maybe do with a little bit of an improvement, but ultimately still good for a 19-year-old. He gets an average SOFA score rating of 7.1, and I think it'll end up being a lot higher than that. I think he is definitely the type of player that Maresca is going to love. And if all goes well, what we've got ourselves now is a succession plan, right? It's not just about bringing him in now. Marc Cucurella is 27. We signed Marc Cucurella until he's like 30, 31, kind of like we did with Azpilicueta. And by that time, Jorrel Hato is only going to be like 23. Do you know what I mean? That's the same age Cole Palmer is now. And then we can have him for another 7 years. So what it looks like is the next decade of our left back, should things go well. Obviously, we have to caveat it with that. But our left side of the defence might be set up for the next decade. Now, there are obviously things that can change that if other managers come in to play different styles. You know, obviously, a lot of that kind of stuff can change. But what we do know about Bluecoat is they like to hire people long term. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous because they've sacked so many managers since they've been in. But in their other sporting ventures, and Todd Boehly, especially with his NFL team, had the same manager there for 10 years running. It's one of the reasons we want to get youngsters in is because they want to build a team that stays with us for a long time and grows and develops, and the manager is part of that. So if Maresca carries on going from strength to strength, it is feasible that we could see him here for the next 5 to 10 years, and having players like Hato in the bag to be ready to take over that spot as soon as Marc Cucurella decides that it's time for him to move on, that's awesome. This is a great move. It really shows intent from our part as well. We're strengthening a position of strength, and that is the absolute best thing that you can do, right? Especially in a position where we've seemed quite light. I'd love to know what you think in the comments, guys. Do you think Jorrel Hato is going to push Marc Cucurella for that spot? Do you think that Maresca, much like he's done with Reece James and Malo Gusto, do you think he's going to try and find ways for them to play together? Or do you think he's not going to see any game time because Marc Cucurella is just the boy? And I guess that means next we're likely to hear about the Xavi Simons, right? The single Dutch is done, do you know what I mean? The half Dutch, whatever you want to call it, half of that double Dutch thing is done. We've got the here we go for Jorrel Hato, and hopefully Xavi Simons is next. And also, hopefully, what I really, really want this to be is the first domino, right? I want this to be the first domino that starts knocking all the other ones down, and that means that we can start getting rid of a lot of players we've got to get rid of, bringing in the final few players that we need to bring in. Still not super sold about this Garnacho news I'm hearing, by the way. Ooh, what do you think? But either way, we are looking at getting strong players in, right? It looks really, really cool. We generally need to figure out what's going on with the centre-back situation because it's not really being talked about at the moment, and the only guy that is absolutely untouchable, I guess, is Levi Colwill. But everyone else is kind of being mentioned in, oh, he may get sold or we're going to trade him for someone. You know, we've still got Wesley Fofana on the books. There's a lot of questions over the centre-back spot, but getting Jorrel Hato for the left-back is just another thing that is sewn up. The right-back spot is sorted. The left-back spot is sorted. Centre-backs and goalkeepers has to be looked at soon. The midfield seems pretty good as well, right? You know, we've got a lot of deep midfielders now. Strikers seems to not really be much of an issue at the moment, and attacking midfielders are very, very plentiful. So it really is starting to look like we are closing all of those holes in the team. And like I say, to me, this signing represents a huge part of that. So yes, wicked. Jorrel Hato is coming. He looks really good. It will be really interesting to see if he can translate those attacking numbers in particular into the Premier League, because if he can, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see him in blue, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think about this transfer as well. So nice one, guys. I'm going to wrap it up there. I just wanted to get a quick video out and just to say, yes, we got the here we go. And like I say, for me, I just want this to be the beginning of the dominoes falling down, and then we can really focus on pre-season and start taking a proper look at our squad. As soon as we've got a few more signings through and pre-season is kind of starting to come towards us, I'm going to really start diving into what our team might look like next year. But I've been holding off for that because there are just so many things that can happen, and you know what it's like. You think you've got an idea of what's going on, and then you wake up the next morning and that guy's been sold, and you've bought this guy that wasn't even being talked about, and there's still so much that can happen. But we're getting closer, right? We're getting closer, and this, yeah, oh mate, I actually feel a little bit relieved, genuinely. I was starting to stress. So yeah, that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap up the video there. I will have another one out ready for you tomorrow. Do go and check out my other video that I released earlier today if you haven't already. It is about left backs in general because there is more news to talk about than just Jorrel Hato. So put it in your little queue after you watch this one. Don't forget to hit those buttons and hit that little bell if you want to find out whenever I am releasing a video. Nice one, guys. I hope you have a great evening or morning if you watch this a day after I release it. And I will catch up with all of you very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.